Welcome everyone. Am I audible? Welcome everyone to the workshop Introduction to Avesta at Innovative Insight Academy. It's my pleasure to extend a warm welcome to all participants and our esteemed lecturer Pushkar Ikbote. We are excited to start this journey into the world of Avesta and Zoroastrianism, guided by expertise of Pushkar Ikbote together. Let's explore the depth of ancient text and gain valuable insights into its significance and relevance. Thank you for joining us today. Let's make this workshop an enriching and enlightening experience for everyone involved. Warm regards, Gaurang Devdar, Innovative Insight Academy.
Hello everyone, welcome. So we are going to start with our workshop Introduction to Avesta today. So uh, uh, Gaurang is going to handle the slides. So we are let's begin. Next slide. So basically, Avesta is a core Zoroastrian text. So we need to understand that Avesta is not the only Zoroastrian text. So sometimes people misunderstand that it is the only Zoroastrian text. It is not. So there is Avesta, there is Vendidad, Khorde Avesta, but usually Avesta, Vendidad, and Khorde Avesta are considered uh, the old or classic texts, and then there are later Sasanian texts like there is Bundahishan or uh, even the tradition of Avesta. There are texts like Dinkar and the religious text, but we are going to see the most ancient text of Zoroastrians. It is called Avesta. So basically, Avesta uh, is written in a language called Avestan. So the name came from the language. Language is named after the text Avesta. So what is written in Avesta is Avestan. Just like the Vedas are written in Vedic language. So from Veda we created an adjective Vedic. So this Avestan language, it has a close resemblance with Rigvedic language. For example, if uh, anybody of you have seen or many of you have seen the post of this course, so there was a small video. We will share it in the group again. So there is a mantra, a very important mantra. It is Ashem Vahu Vahishtam Asti, Ushta Asti Ushta Ahmai, Yat Ashai Vahishta Ashem. So the mantra is, it can be translated into Vedic language. Ritam Vasu Vasishtham Asti, Oshitru Asti Oshitru Asmai, Yat Ritay Vasishthai Ritam. So Ashem Vahu is Ritam Vasu, Vahishtam Asti is Vasishtham Asti, Ushta Asti is Oshitru Asti, uh, Ushta Ahamai is Oshitru Asmai, Ahamai is Asmai. So similarly, there is such a similarity. Yat Ashai, Yat Ritay, Vahishtai Ashem, Vasishthai Rutam. So Asha and Ruta basically are interconnected. the original Indo-European word is Hrto. So mm, we are going to see that. So now dating Avesta is very uh, difficult. Basically, dating the text is difficult because we don't have some evidences or evidence of some places or locations are not there in Avesta. Overall, the society, Avestan society is pastoral society. So similar to Rigvedic. So in Rigveda, we have some pastoral nomadic society. Similarly, in Avesta, we have pastoral nomadic society. Uh, so it talks about cattle, it talks about cow, fashioner of cow, Geush Tashan Geush Urvan. So Geush is cow, similar to go in Vedic context. But it is generally considered that it is that the period is between 1500 BCE to 500 BCE. Now this is uh, basically the understanding from the language because of its close resemblance to Rigvedic text. We can say that it was in between uh, 1500 BC to 500 BC. Usually, the period is considered 1300 BCE. So now, Avesta has the formulas, actually mantras. So mantras are in English, they are translated as formulas. So in Avesta, remember it is called mantras, not mantras, but mantras. So these mantras, or the single is called mantra. So mantra, it is th, mantra. So these mantras are used in Zoroastrian rituals. Next. So from where we got this word Avesta? Very important to see. So basically, Avesta is the word which came from Pahlavi script, which is Avestak. And then Kellen's Bartholomew is basically a researcher, well-known researcher. So he find its origin. It is from Upastavaka. So that is U and A becomes wa. So Upastavaka. That means praise. It is from the verb, Avestan verb, upastu. It comes in Yasna 10. And we are going to see what is this Yasna soon. What is mean by Yasna. So from old Iranian, there is another, Zunderman is also very well-known thinker in Avestan studies. So he says it is from old Iranian, Apishtak. Apishtak. So Apishtak means admonition. So it is from verb apista. So this is the origin of the word, from where this word got originated, and that's why from word we got the name of the language, that is Avestan. Next, please. Now we are going to see the origins of Zoroastrianism, because most of us might be aware, but let's revise, even if those who know what is Zoroastrianism. So basically, there is something called Indo-European pantheon. Remember, there is some Indo-European pantheon of deities. So there is Indo-European pantheon, then there is Indo-Iranian pantheon. And then there are some similar deities between Vedic and Zoroastrian cultures, and or we can say divinities. So and this is we can't say that all these deities are same. There are some deities which are present in Rigveda but are absent in Avesta, but again are present in Indo-European pantheon, like Jupiter or Zeus Pater, so or Zeus Jupiter. So these are the sky god. So this concept is present uh, in Vedic culture and Zoroastrian culture, but it is absent in uh, but it is absent in Avestan or Zoroastrian culture. It is present in Vedic as well as in Indo-European. Might be these deities were present earlier and we might have lost them. That is possibility. But here are some Indo-Iranian pantheon of deities. And what I have written in the beginning, it is the Indo-Iranian name mostly, and then there is Vedic name and Avestan name. So the first is Rita, and we called it like Asha, yat Ashaya Vaishtaya Shem. So this Asha is Rita. It means righteousness. Basically, it is righteousness or truth. So Rita, Rito. Madan Joshi is asking whether we will get the presentation. Yeah, sure. You can send it and share it. So Rita is basically Ruta and Asha. So, and how this Ruta and Asha, we don't find any phonetic similarity between Ruta and Asha. But basically, Ruta, truth, and Asha have the common origin. It is Ruta, Ruta, and Rto is Indo-European origin. Rto becomes Artha, and Artha becomes Asha, and Artha becomes Ruta. So Artha is also a connecting word. Then that another is Sahuma. Sahuma. Sahuma is basically in Vedic Soma, and in Avestan it is Hauma. And now what is this Soma or Hauma? What exactly Soma means, which is used in sacrificial rituals in Vedic culture, and it is also used in Zoroastrian worship, Zoroastrian Yasna and Vedic Yajna. So it is used. So what is it? It is basically ephedra, a kind of ephedra, because in Iranian Zoroastrianism and traditional in Zoroastrianism, that ephedra was commonly used in uh, uh, in this. Actually, there are this all these sticks are there. So in Iran, we still find ephedra. So this hauma is available in Iran, and it grows on hills. So nothing very exclusive and all. I guess that there is some chemical in that which is called ephedrine. So what ephedrine does, so it creates a kind of alertness, excitement. It is not that kind of narcotic, because see, addictive substances or narcotic substances might have different effects. So there are, for example, if you are you are drinking coffee, it contains caffeine. So caffeine creates some kind of excitement. If you have uh, uh, cannabis indica, cannabis sativa, it might create hallucination. Uh, so all these effects or psychedelic substances have some effect. So it might be having actually it has, basically we know that it has ephedrine, and which creates a effect which creates alertness, and your mind becomes over alert. So it is it creates something to better connect with the divinity. Then there is a deity. So that deity is Mitra. It is in Indo-Iranian pantheon, it is called Mitra. In Vedic, it is called Mitra. In Avestan, it is called Mithra. So Mithra is, I said that sometimes Tra becomes Thra. So just like Mantra becomes Mantra. Here it is Mitra. Next deity is Bhaga. So Bhaga is the deity which shares what it has with others. So it is regarding sharing. Basically, the deity Mitra, uh, it is actually a deity of contract. So the purpose I forgot to tell. Hauma is basically used in ritual, so it got deitified. But Mitra is a deity of contract, friendship, association, companionship. So all these things comes under the governance of Mitra. So it is god of contract. Then there is Bhaga. So Bhaga is the one who shares. Bhaga, from Bhaga creates Bhaga. So in Vedic it is Bhaga, but in Avestan, it is Bhaga. So this Bhaga, it is an interesting word because we find some traces like in Russian, the god is called Bog, and that Bog came from this Bhaga, Avestan Bhaga. So uh, uh, Burger becoming Bog. And if somebody might ask that Burger becoming Bog, is there any similar phonetic transformations happening in other words? There are a lot. Like we know the word Dampati, and Dam means home, and Pati is the owner, so or the one who possesses house. So Dam becomes Dom in. There is a word Dama in Avestan. So Dama means house, and in Russian it becomes Dom means house. So Dam Dom, it is there. Uh, then there is another important deity which is very interesting. It is Apam Napat in Vedic and Apam Napat in Avestan. There are usually in every prayer in Zoroastrianism, there is salutation to this Apam Napat. It is Apam Naptaram Yazamaide, Nairim Sangyam Yazamaide, Takhmim Damai Shopamanim Yazatim Yazamaide. So these all multiple deities are saluted, and Yazamaide, we will see what formula it is. But it is we worship. So we worship. It is Yazamaide. So we worship this deity. The root is Yaja. So this Apam Napat is very interesting deity. Why I am saying is in Vedic text, what happens in Vedic text, the Apam Napat is basically progeny of water or a grandchild of water. So Napat is equated with Naptru or Natu in Marathi, or in many other Indian languages it is Natu. So it is grandchild of water. And they give us two origins. So one is because of water there are plants, and then because of plants uh, um, because of plants we have fire. So we ignite the fire using plants. So these plants are basically used to create fire. So ultimately the plant is the parent of fire, and the grandparent is water. So that's why it is Apam Napat according to Vedic. Then there is another origin of Apam Napat or form of Apam Napat in Vedic texts. It is basically there are clouds. So clouds have, yeah, Apam is similar to Ab. Basically, Apam or Apas is also there. It is Ap in Avesta also. So it is called Ap, and Apa becomes Ab in modern Persian. So this Apam Napat, basically there is another origin of in Rigveda. So Apam Napat is basically the lightning in the sky, because there are clouds with a lot of water in it, and then there is a lightning striking in that watery cloud. So that is also one of its form. But in Avestan, basically, see, these deities, there are exchange within the uh, Avestan and Vedic culture about deities, and some deities lost their meaning, original meaning, till it came to Punjab region. So according to Avesta, it is Apam Napat is actually the fire on water, and Napat, there is a word based on Napat. It is naphtha. So naphtha is a petrochemical. So basically, Apam Napas is itself a fire on water. So it is a fire, but it is ignited on water. If you see the region of Azerbaijan or the region near Caspian Sea, you will see that there are many places where the petroleum or natural gas is leaking from below these lakes, and it is coming on the surface. And if you ignite a fire on the surface of water, it will be it will last there forever, like for decades, because the surface of lake will start burning because there is a constant supply of fuel. For ancient people, this was a divine thing. Like we use water to extinguish the fire, but here there is a fire on the water. So but from this Avestan Apam Napat, we find word, this naphtha. So naphtha or naphthalene, all these words are originated from that. So we will just take a few chat and continue the two deities. We'll see the chat. Yeah. So Mithras is also a Greek deity. Yeah. Basically, they are inspired by these Mithras. Basically, both the Mithras are uh, inspired by each other. Not each other, basically the Iranian Mithras, and all these Mithras, they have a lot of symbolism which they have taken from Zoroastrianism. Specifically, uh, mm, in they have also taken some negative aspects of Zoroastrianism and what Zoroastrians hate the most. Uh, Possibly there was a cult of Mithra present in Iran, and or uh, a different just like there was a cult of Ahura Mazda, which we called Zoroastrianism. So there was, and it is clear, it is clearly known that there was a cult of another deity of water, which is Ardvisura Anahita. There was a different cult of her, and then there was a different cult of Mithra. But these deities were accepted within Zoroastrianism and made Yazata, or the worthy of worship. Uh, uh, Yajani, or whatever we can say, Yazata. Then there is Apam. Yeah, I have talked about it. In Vedas, Apam Napat is a form of Agni, which is a reflection of sun. Really, yeah, because Vedic lost the contact with the petroleum and petrochemical and petroleum region. So that is possible. Aap, water, Nitya Bahuvachanant. Yeah, yeah, always used in exactly Apam Napat. Yeah. So let's get back to this. Then there is a Vayu in Vedas, and here it is a pair deity, something similar to Ashwini Kumar. So there is a pair deity. It is Vayuvata. So it comes as a deity, and Vayuvata is not always good. Sometimes they are mentioned in Avesta as Devas, or they are from the side of Devas, but still they are worthy of worship. So a rare scenario. Another deity is Vrutraghna. So Vrutraghna in Vedas is Varatraghna in Avesta. So Vrutraghna uh, is aspect of Indra. It is because of the story of Vritrasur. And if you don't know the story, it is in short. I'll tell you, very brief. So there was a king called Tvashta, and he had a son Vishwarup, and the Vishwarup had what, three heads, and he used to drink soma from one, and all these things. So what happened once these deities were called? There was a sacrificial ceremony. Yajna was there the next day, and these preparations were made, and this Vishwarup drank all the soma, and that's why Indra cut his heads. So the Tvashta got angry because of his son uh, uh, son getting slayed. So he uh, the remaining soma he added to the fire with the mantra Indra Shatrur Vardhasva, and then there was a this Vrutra, which was a being which is without limbs. Now this Vrutra is called Ahi, and in similar person is there in Avesta in a very different context. It is called Ajidahaka. So it is like a dragon. But here in Avesta, this Vritragna is actually just remover of obstacle. This story is basically similar story is there in Avesta, but the Vritragna is basically um, slayer of obstacle. In Veda, what happens? This Vritra, he obstructed the water flow in Sapta Sindhu, the region of 7 rivers, and then Indra slayed him and made the water free for people or people staying in Sapta Sindhu, and that's why he became Apamnapat. Sorry, not Apamnapat, Apamneta. Apamneta means who is directing the waters, and he also becomes because he killed Vritra, he becomes Vritragna or Vritrahan. So here Varatragna is just remover of obstacle. Mostly it was a different deity present in Indo-Iranian pantheon, but in Vedic culture it got merged with Indra. So this happens sometimes that there are two deities, but they get merged and form one deity, or becomes one deity becomes aspect of other deity. So that is very common. So and then there are many other deities. I am not saying that these are the only deities. There are a lot of deities throughout Avesta. These are some samples. Next, please. Now uh, there is this schism in Vedic and Avestan people. That is a very popular belief, and that is the usually majoritarian argument. I am not saying there is no consensus among scholars whether this happened. Uh, and then there is also contesting arguments about independent development. But interestingly, in Zoroastrian culture, uh, they worship asuras or ahuric entities, ahuric deities. And in Vedic culture, they talk about devas. So if you see Rigveda, so in Rigveda, asuras are also worshipped, like venerated, because Varuna is not deva, it is asura. So there is asura Varuna. So and basically this Varuna is itself, its characteristics are very similar to that of Avramazda. So, and if somebody knows that there are 101 names of Auramazda, so Varun is one of the name. So these are the similarities, but these are point of difference. So these basically in this Asura, or in Rigveda, that the Asura literally mean Asu means life force, and Ra means who possesses or who offers. So Asura is basically the giver of life force. So and this is very important concept in Zoroastrianism also. So it is Amesha Spenta, it is Montes life giving forces. So that is very crucial to Zoroastrianism. But there are this they worship this Asura Medha or Ahura Mazda, and uh, in Avesta, what is the mention of devas? So in very oldest part of Avesta, we find devas as false gods. So devas are considered false gods. They are not demons in uh, old text of Avesta. So that's why content wise we find that Rigveda, where asuras and devas both are venerated, the Samhita part I'll say, are is basically the older. The Rigved Samhita is older than the Avesta, because in Avesta we find that they are separated, these both divinities, and then asuras are worshipped and devas are called false gods. Mm. And then there are some philosophical reasons behind that, that they with their adjectives and all, so devas they can bend their own rules. So devas, they don't follow any rules. They make the rules and then they break it. They can bend it any way they want, and they do nasty things to bend these rules. So that is their argument. In But in younger Avesta, slowly these devas become demonified. So these devas were turned into demons. But of course, Avesta has their own set of demons. So they are not intermingling with each other. These are a different category of demons. Now, if we try to see the first argument, that is common origin. So the argument is that they were together, these Zoroastrians and Vedic, these Indo-Iranians were living together, and then there was a split. We don't know, and with this split, the reason of this split is unknown, but because of the split between Vedic and Zoroastrians, Zoroastrians started calling devas as first fall gods and then demons, and and Vedic started calling asuras as demons. And in post Sanhita text, post Rigvedic Sanhita, we find that asuras are not considered good. So they were together and there was a fight. So this schism is basically we can say this schism is this antagonism is proof of schism, and there are similar deities also, divinities also. So they were together, and another thing is their rituals. There is similarity between the rituals because both of them have the ritual around fire. So that's why. And then there is a mention that there were these this split, and then that Mazdaism lasted for ages, and then Zarathustra came, and Asha Zarathustra made reforms in this Zoroastrianism and made this religion henotheistic, or we can say monotheistic, if you don't want to be very technically accurate. But henotheism is basically they have one supreme deity, but they don't deny the existence of other divinities like Mitra or Ardhvisuranahita or all other Apamnapat. So they are not denying their existence or their divinity, but there is one supreme deity who is there, who is supreme. So the basically this Mazdaism got converted into something like henotheistic belief, or I say that somebody might call it as monotheistic belief. Basically, the argument is another argument why there is a common origin. Then, what was the reason why Zarathustra made these reforms? So there must be some material reasons for material reasons which made it necessary that there should be reforms in the religion, and what was those conditions is unknown. So that's why. But there were reforms like other deities, or there were other divinities. They became under the Ahura Mazda. Like they are Yazatas. They are okay. They are divinities, but the supreme is Ahura Mazda. Now then there is another argument which is independent development. So because this Mitanni and Hittite treaty, they mention the deities which are present in Vedic pantheon, plus some additional deities, of course. But these deities are prevalent in this Central Asian and all these regions. This people who are speaking Indo-Iranian languages. So these divinities were present, and there was an exchange of these deities. Locally, there were deities, the local deities, plus then they have sent these deities outside, and these outside deities were adopted, and a kind of polytheistic religion was formed. Then there is also existence of other ancient Iranian faiths, and that is also an argument. Like the wearing sacred thread is not very exclusive Zoroastrian practices. Like wearing kashti is not exclusive Zoroastrian practices. All other, like the money, the cult formed by Manichaean. So they used to wear that. Mitra worshippers, even the Magha Brahmins wear Avyanga, or Avyanga is again phonetically similar to Ivyanghan in Avestan, which is the sacred thread. So these similarities are basically pointing towards that these rituals mm, were not exclusive to to Zoroastrians, and that is pointing out that these rituals were common, might be common throughout Central Asia. Mm, uh, yeah, it is Upanan ceremony in very narrow terms, in the Rigvedic terms, and that sacred thread is again different than Avyanga of Magha Brahmins. So Avyanga is only sun worshippers who wear that. Mm. Just Kasti is again hollow made up of wool, but Avyanga is again hollow made up of cotton. So that is the difference. Next, please. Now, I'll briefly introduce you to Zoroastrianism. So you got the background that where this Avesta comes, like why there are so much similarities with Vedic. We talked about a possible split. Then this basically Zoroastrianism. When I am saying Zoroastrianism, it comes with Zarathustra. So it is a religion established by Prophet Zarathustra. Otherwise, there is also word Mazdaism. So um, it is we worship Mazda. That's why it is Mazdaism. So in old Persian text, we find it that Vashna Ahura Mazda. So by wish of Ahura Mazda. Uh, uh, it shared deities basically from Indo Iranian pantheon that we have seen, and these are similar to Vedic deities. Zoroastrianism is henotheistic religion that I have mentioned, and is Ahura Mazda. It is usually the Ahura Mazda term. Ahura Mazda is translated as the wise lord, and it is a supreme deity. Then there are other divinities called they are called Yazatas. So I have mentioned Yazata is basically from the root Yaz, and uh, then Zoroastrianism also have dualistic character because this Ahura Mazda is there. Then there is some people consider it as a dualistic because there is Angra Mainyu who is uh, the devil, basically the god of death. Uh, yeah, I have mentioned that I think in the beginning. Mazda and Medha, Asura Medha. That's why wise. So other divinities are called Yazata. Uh, and this Yazata is basically worthy of worship. So, and the root verb is Yaja. Basically, Yaja means worship. Basically, and now remember when we called Yajna in or Yaja, usually in Vedic terms it is called sacrifice, and the same cognate word to that, it is Yasna, is usually associated not with sacrifice, but it is associated with uh, worship because there is no oblation inside the fire. Inside fire, like they can add sandalwood for in the morning and in the evening. Uh, the sandalwood, the fragrance can be added, but otherwise there is no oblation with the mantras. The ceremony is not like the Vedics, not like that, like oblating something in the fire. So that's why it is dualistic character. So this Ahura Mazda is in constant fight against uh, Angra Mainyu, and Angra Mainyu is demon. Now, these Zoroastrians perform the ritual mainly around fire and water. Also, they perform some rituals in front of sun. Uh, they are not very common, but otherwise, fire and water are very common. Next, please. Now, why fire? We see this cult of fire. So, here is a mention that we find the I can send the references also. So there is 500,000 years ago, we find the clear-cut evidences of cooking. But of course, there are some evidences that people had cooked meat in 2.3 to 8.8 million years ago, but they were not Homo sapiens, of course. So they are not humans. They were hominid species. And 2 million years ago, we find the controlled fire, and 1 million year ago, we see that this tending fire and everything was common. Now, fire had a major role in development of human. If many of you might be from Mumbai, so on CSTM, CSMT, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus, there on the roof uh, there is a imagery of progress, the deity's progress. So uh, so that deity of progress is holding uh, a torch with fire in one hand, and then in other hand there is will. So wheel and fire are two very important things for human beings. uh, they change the course of human history, and also helped in this evolution. So I remember fire contributed in human evolution a lot. So the uses like cooking, for hunting, you might not be knowing mechanism, but in hunting, uh, they used to frighten these animals by using fire, and then uh, they used to hunt them. So mm, actually, that hunting is not what you imagine, like bow and arrow. That was not the case. The hunting was very different uh, case in till Paleolithic period. And then there is a protection from wild animals, because when there is a fire, the wild animal will not they will not come near fire. So uh, that is for sure. Then uh, basically, tools and weapon making, they used to heat these tools up and then put it in cold water, which used to toughen it, and all these loose flecks used to come out because of rapid expansion and contraction. In pottery, we know they used to bake the pots. Then and then the very important thing which contributed most in human evolution, and which with even electric lamps and LEDs, it is what impacting us is actually it changes the circadian rhythm. So the cycle of day and night. Just imagine a Paleolithic person without a fire. So once sun sets, there is no fire. So all other humans also don't have fire. So uh, you are just in darkness. You might get some moonlight also, but otherwise your normal functioning is impossible. And what you will do, you will just sleep because you don't have anything else to do. uh, uh, with fire, it changed. And in the morning till sunrise, actually before sunrise, people used to get up and to go for hunting. So till they reach somewhere, uh, if the place where there are potential, uh, actually more potential to find mm, some prey or something, some animals, so they used to get it uh, get it from get that to that place early morning till sunrise or before sunrise. So that was the case. But with fire, basically in the night time, people can sit together and talk with each other. The group or tribe can sit together and talk around the fire. They can play the games, they can have some chit chatting around the fire. So that uncomfort was over, and there was a light security protection. And that's why the cohesion of human society together as a community together, it was made possible by fire, because there was change in circadian rhythm. So in the night, you will ignite the fire, or you already have the fire which you will just tend. You will put more wood, and then you will sit chit chatting or playing some small board game like thing, or on floor something. So you can do that. And uh, the human interaction was made uh, basically this complexity of society is also attributed to fire by many scholars, and that's why it was a change in human life, basically health, diet, and rhythm. So all these things changed because of fire, because we started eating cooked meal, and we could boil the water, we could and with cooked meal, even the mm, bacteria and viruses, very ancient bacteria and viruses which those people might have been facing, uh, uh, will get what will not affect you, because you might kill the bacteria by using heat. And this is change in rhythm, and that's why there is actually the fire is so important that there is this story of theft of fire in lot of cultures throughout the world. So all of you might be aware of some of the story that there is somebody stole this fire. Same thing is uh, present in Zoroastrianism, and that's why the worship of fire, the respect about fire, it is called pyrolatry. Pyrolatry started. Next, please. Now we are going to see the Zoroastrian way. We are talking about this long inner ritual. It is yasna ceremony. So the Vedic yasna is cognated with yajna, yajna in Rigveda or yajna in Vedic context. But there you offer something into fire, you offer something, and that reaches to the gods. Here you don't offer anything. You just offer some sandalwood, that's all. But otherwise, all these major ritual which happens in front of fire, but nothing is added to the fire. That is important to see. And the ritual starts with uh, taking out the milk from goat. Goat milk is necessary for that, and taking out the water from well, which is very close to. This is inner ritual. Remember, there is uh, uh, y- there is another ceremony called Jashan ceremony, which is outer ritual, which is a minor ritual in Zoroastrianism, and basically it is connected. You know the word Jashna, Jashna Manana. So Jashna is from Yasna, Yasna is from Yajna. Indo-European is also Yajna. So Yajna becomes Yajna in Vedic context, and it becomes Yasna uh, in uh, in Avestan context. So uh, So here, this is usually yasna ceremony is translated as yasna is translated as worship. Always remember, and not translated as sacrifice. So this yasna becomes jashan. Actually, it becomes jashan, and then in modern Persian it becomes jashna or jashan, uh, and it came to Gujarat, and then there are Zoroastrian jashan ceremonies. So this is inner ritual, the only one inner ritual which is fully available, which is called Paragna. So this is Paragna ritual. There is a project based on this, which is called Muya project, Multimedia Yasna project, where you can see the whole ritual in 2D format, which is interactive 2D, where you can click on the objects and check what is happening, and you can also see what mantras are being recited right now with English translation and in Avestan text, Avestan diacritic texts, uh, and with the translation also in English. So very interesting project. It was by SOAS University of London. It is called Muya Multimedia Yasna project. So this Yasna ceremony is documented now, Paragna. So this taking out, because I remember that till that project was not there, I need to only describe the things. Now I can show them, show everybody that how they create zautra, and so adding that milk with water. Zautra, uh, basically zautra is like a hotra in Vedic. Zau becomes ho, like zaota becomes hota. So hota is related to Rigveda, the priest related to Rigveda. So here it is Zautra. Zaota is basically the priest who is. There are two priests, basically officiating priest who is performing is called Zaota, and then there is a Raspi who is the another priest. Now, uh, it is very complex ritual like Vedic because there is a lot of similarities. Like there is a pounding of homa, there is eating of sacrificial bread, like pulling this padam up over. Remember, Zoroastrians put this padam. You can see in this photograph. It is not to pollute the fire or even the instrument, is the uttara and all, with your breathing also. So remember, so that's why this padam is put. Uh, So it is similar. Lot of similarities there are there with Rigvedic, but basically they are not offering anything in fire is very important. Basically, it is very similar to Rigvedic uh, type of uh, understanding of the rituals. Like in Yajurveda, we have the complex ceremonies, but here they also have pounding of Homa, then pouring all this water. So usually, this whole cosmological uh, or cosmogonical, I should say, that origin of this universe and world and Avramada created everything and all these concepts, all these things are performed symbolically on table. Then there are moon-like stands are there, and then there are barisma. So barisma is actually the wires which are there. So these wires, there is a bundle of wires. Actually, they use this bundle of wires. It shows unity or something. Now the Beresma they use brass wires for the ritual, but earlier they used to have pomegranate twigs. So this whole ritual, they need a white bull hair, which is mm, actually there is a ring which is they actually tie it around the ring, the white bull hair, and that is used very lot of symbolism, lot of things are there. It is a very complex, I am saying, ritual. uh, but in Vedic context, if we see, there are multiple rituals, there are multiple sacrificial rituals present in Rigveda. Now here only Paragna is the only outer ritual which is present in its full, I'll say, in its full form. And now very few priests who are qualified and performing this Paragna ritual. Next, please. Now, let's come back to Avestan language. Let's come back from Zoroastrianism to Avestan language. So, it is Indo-Iranian language from Indo-European language family, and it is written in Avestan script. And this script was developed during Sasanian period, like around 3rd, 4th century, not BCE. It was developed later. So, to write the text, because Avestan tradition was oral tradition. It was never written tradition. It was always been oral tradition. So, but we don't know how they used to recite, whether it was phonetically fixed like Vedic chanting. We don't know, but we don't because now we don't find anything, because there because of Alexander's invasion, there was a first major loss in Avestan text, and post Sasanian, when they have written these things, they have written it in on paper or on with the characters they have written the Avesta. They uh, they have then there was the Arab invasion, and uh, there was another way of destruction. So then there was Indo-Iranian. It is here are these Indo-European language families. I have mentioned all the language families and then expanded one. So Indo-Iranian, and then there are two branches, Iranian and Indo-Aryan. But somebody have asked in the group, WhatsApp group, that there is this uh, Indo-Aryan and Iranian. What is this? We should say Indo-Iranian for Avesta, and that is true because in Vedic context we mostly use Indo-Aryan. But interestingly, Aryan and Iranian are the cognate. Basically, Aryan and Iranian. Iranian is itself Aryan, basically. Iran is Aryan. So And then these are the language, and you can see. So Avestan and Vedic, we are saying that they are sister languages. They are originated from Indo-Aryan and Iranian branch of Indo-Iranian language. So that's why there is such a huge similarity between them. And on left side, you can see actually it is a part of manuscript. Uh, Basically, this is not taken exactly from the manuscript, but these manuscripts are scanned. So this scanned copy of manuscript I have put, and I have taken this photograph. Mm. Next, please. Yeah, before we move to Avestan script, I want to tell you something about Avestan language, some more things. One is basically the language has the soul of the language is verb. And Avestan is very complex language. All ancient languages, like even Proto-Germanic is very complex. Just interesting thing is those people who know German fluently can't understand Proto-Germanic. But those who could speak Russian can understand uh, old Church Slavonic language. So sometimes language change a lot, sometimes it does not change a lot. It depends from Indo-European family if we take. Here in Avestan there are 5 tenses. So there is present, past, uh, no, not past, present, perfect, aorist, future, and perfect tense. So, and there is no pluperfect. So some languages have that, like ancient Greek have that. So there are 5 tenses. So present, imperfect, perfect, aorist, and uh, and future tense. So just remember, it is very similar to Vedic language. So Vedic language has all these 5 tenses. Uh, then there are 5 moods: uh, indicative, injunctive, imperative, subjunctive, and optative. So these are 5 moods. So there can be a present indicative or present subjunctive sentence. Then there are 3 voices: active voice, middle voice, and passive voice. Now, with all these formation, then comes the verb. So every verb have first person, second person, third person, and singular, dual, plural. So singular, dual, plural, and first person, second person, third person is basically uh, 9 forms, 9 verbal forms. Now these 9 verbal forms multiplied by 3 tenses. Sorry, not tenses, 3 voices. So these 9 forms can be in active voice. So it might be first person singular active voice sentence verbal form. So there are 27 forms now. Now these 27 forms might be then 27 form in indicative, 27 form in optative, 27 form in subjunctive. So for imperative, of course, there are there are only third person forms, uh, and of course second person are also there. Sometimes third person are there, mostly second person are there. So if you see, so every verb usually takes some 400 to 500 verbal forms, flavors, to express every tense, every flavor of the language. We don't find all these forms, interestingly, because we have a very small corpus. Corpus means very small text. The forms present in those texts are only available for us. But there might be, like, they might be able to form, like, a dual, second person dual, middle voice subjunctive sentence or optative sentence. That is possible. Uh, about nouns, so these are verbal forms, but about nouns there are cases, like there are 8 cases similar to Indian languages, most of Indian languages. Nominative, accusative, then usually third is instrumental, we use uh, uh, instrumental case, third person, tritiya, and then there is a dative case, then ablative, and vocative, locative, all are present. Of course, genitive, I forgot. So these all 8 cases are present there. And I already told you that there is singular, dual, and plural. So these forms are there, and masculine, feminine, neuter genders are there. So it becomes very complex. Interestingly, verbs don't carry gender, like the modern Indian languages have, and many other modern languages carry genders, which were not present in ancient and old languages. Like verb does not carry gender. So mm, uh, jasami becomes or gachami becomes gachami for male or female I, and not jata hu, jati hu, or zato, jati. So, and then there are adjectives and adverbs are also present in Avesta. Now let's see this text. So this text was developed during Sasanian period. If your screen is very small, then it will be problematic, but I'll share the form. Yeah, you can zoom it out. So, and now this language is written from right to left. So it is from right to left. And uh, basically this is alphabet system. So alphabet system means you write every sound. For example, if you want to uh, 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 write a word ahura, so you need to write a, h, u, r, e. So all vowel and consonant must be mentioned separately, and there is some character given to everything. Like mm, uh, for example, the word yatha. So interestingly, when you come with the word yatha, at some places they write year. There is a word year. On right side column, you can see there is y. So they have year. But sometimes instead of writing year, you can see that there are these two dash. So it resembles E on left if you see E. So there are two E's. So if you want to say year, you can say E, E and merge to E and make a very strong E and year. Or for U, you can have two U crash together, very strong U. So in text, many a times you will come across and just remember it, because we are going to see a text also, how it looks. So basically this is the script, and remember it is alphabet system. So how they developed this alphabet? So they had this Aramaic script, Aramaic alphabets. They had taken this Aramaic script and given a different sound to everything. Like now the current sound, most of the sounds, like 90% of the sound have something else, like sound and characters are not matching with each other. But just please zoom in. I want to show something. So there are 16 vowels. Uh, so there are 16 vowels. There is a, e. So to make it long vowel, they have just added some dash to the original character. So that way they made Rasva Dirgha, what we say. So they made it the short vowel and long vowel just by adding some mark to it, just a dash, usually vertical dash. Writing it right to left, and the manuscripts are very beautiful. Usually, with after every word they put a dot, and at the end of sentences some kind of flower. Then there are ritual instructions, and then this is, because this is right to left, it is very interesting to see. So this script was developed deliberately, artificially, using Aramaic script during Sasanian period to write this text. See, traditionally, Zoroastrians believe that writing is invented by devil. So writing is something demonic. So one should not write. And the oral tradition was prevalent. So writing was not that necessary, especially about religious texts. I am saying, if it is invented by devil, um, you should use it minimal, and that also for whenever it is very necessary. But otherwise, your tradition should be oral tradition. So they used to have oral tradition and oral recitation of the things. So this is Avestan script. Next, please. And we have seen a photograph of that. Now, what is the structure of this text Avesta? We have seen the script, we have seen the grammar of the language, we talked about language, but this text Avesta. So there are these 5 gathas: Ahunavaiti Gatha, Ushtavaiti Gatha, Spentamainu Gatha, Bahukshatra Gatha, Vaishtoishti Gatha. So gathas literally means songs. And these songs, these are considered to be written by Zarathustra himself. And there is Yasna Haptangaiti, which is not written by Zarathustra, but it is in the similar oldest language, basically oldest language. So these gathas are the language in which they are written is called Old Avestan language. Now there is also latter text, all other texts are called Younger Avestan. But now there is a recent development that few scholars are saying that there is something called Middle Avestan. So there is a mention of Middle Avesta, which is neither old and not younger, not getting the Younger Avestan forms. Or then there are 21 Yashts, that is Younger Avesta, and then there are 24 Karts of Visparat, and it is called Visparat because it begins with the word Visperatvo. So, and Visperatvo is actually all patterns. Vispe is like Vishwe. So Vishwe is actually all. Then there is, and these are actually the chapters. Now Avestan chapters are called Haiti, and sometimes just mentioned as Ha in short. But they are also called Yasnas. So when I have mentioned that there was this is mentioned in Yasna 2 or Yasna 10. So Yasnas, so there are these 72 chapters in Avesta, 72 Yasnas, and 72 chapters are called 72 Haitis or 72 Yasnas. Yasnas, Haitis are interchangeable in that sense. So that this is the structure, and here I have mentioned that this Ahunavaiti Gatha, it starts with Ahunavairyo, means a prayer, Yatha Ahuvairya. We are going to see this prayer and we are going to recite it together so that you will get a sense. Then Ushtav and Ushtavaiti is basically about having happiness. Then Spentamainu is Holy Spirit. Basically, Spentamainu is the divine Holy Spirit against Angramainu. So there is a fight between Angramainu and Spentamainu, which is happening. Spentamainu is from the side of Ahura Mazda and Angramainu is against Ahura Mazda. So usually, see, there is these thoughts how Zoroastrians see Angramainu and Ahura Mazda. Sometimes they see it as a dualistic, like equal and opposing forces, Angramainu and Ahura Mazda. But many don't like to believe that. They see that there is a Ahura Mazda which created Spentamainu, and just like when there is a light, there is a shadow, the Angramainu got created. Does the word Gatha appear in the text? Just a minute. Let's just see a few questions. Yeah, Adit Deshmukh has mentioned it correctly, and I have seen that. And God is considered the form of light, also reason for fire. Yeah, and interestingly, the fire is basically the physical embodiment or physical form of Aura Mazda. And the fire giving out light is basically similar to the knowledge, radiating knowledge. So the radiating knowledge is very similar to uh, the radiating light. But remember, Zoroastrians just they also worship sun god. So sun is Var Kshayatha. So or Var Kshayatha becomes Khorshid in modern Persian. Khorshid is sun. Uh, so in my opinion, in Vedic language, verbal root yaj, yajati, yajate, and meaning of worship, which did not necessarily. Yeah, true. Yeah, because uh, Vagyajna, right? Perfect. Yeah, it is correct. Fire was in Zoroastrian tradition. It is not just fire. They also had, you know, that in Mumbai recently with that project of the road on that beach, western part of Mumbai. Uh, Actually, there is one place where Zoroastrians used to worship sea, and they used to have this sea, the offering, or in front of sea they used to stand and chant the prayers. Um, there are prayers in front while you recite it on everything, and there are offerings in water also. So that after yasna ceremony, some zautra is added to the water, so it goes back to uh, the well in which they have taken it out from. Mm, does the word gatha appear in Vedic text as well? Yeah, it is gatha. Yeah, Tukaramancha gatha, right? Basically, gatha is song or hymns. So gathas are basically which you sing. Song, exactly. This is better. The word gatha means song in general, right? In post Vedic period, however, the word gatha means non Vedic verse or song. Correct. Yeah, gatha means song. Remember that these Gathic texts are have a fixed meter. So they have, if you know the language, then it is vritta. So the vritta and chanda are very fixed in these texts, and mostly chandas are fixed. So only in Yasna Haptangaiti they are not fixed. In Yasna Haptangaiti it has a rhythm and poeticity, but they are not very much fixed and locked in some kind of meter or chand. Next, please. Now let's see how we do translation. So now we will see one prayer. Here it is Zot. Zot is from Zaota. So in Middle Persian and latter text, it is called Zaot. Zaota is called Zot. So or Jot. So Navjot is actually now is new, and Zaota is actually the new Zaota. It is the new reciter. But here it is the officiating priest who is saying it. That's why it is Zaota. And why I have chosen it is the second verse. 35.2 is the second verse in Yasna Haptangaiti. It describes the three core principle of Zoroastrianism, that is good thoughts, good words, good deeds. Humata, that is Sumana. Humana, Humata is actually good thoughts. Hukta is Sukta, and Huarshta is actually good deeds. We don't know exact translation. Just take it back. We will read it. Yeah. So it is Humata Nam, Hukta Nam, Huarsha Nam, Yadacha, Anyadacha, Verezyamna Namcha, Verezyamna Namcha. Now here first Verezyamna Namcha, whereas here it is Verezyamna Namcha, and the second is Verezyamna Namcha. So in second, after the other is written U A. So v whereas yamna namcha. So v whereas zamna whereas an namcha, sorry. Whereas yamna namcha v whereas zana namcha mahi ib zartaro ib zarataro ib zarataro just see नए नए स्तारो यथाना वहुना मही. And again it is written from humatha naam dot mahi, and it is written do bar, so you need to recite it twice. Next please. So how the translation is done? Now humata naam, from humata good thoughts, it is actually adjective, genitive plural, neuter gender. Humata means good thoughts. So of good thought, basically of good thought, genitive plural, or of good thoughts. Then huktanam. Huktanam is again adjective, genitive plural, neuter gender. Hukta means good word. So huktanam means of good words. But just don't forget it is adjective. So we need to fix it to something. And huarshtanam, again adjective, genitive plural, same, neuter gender, from huarshta. It is good deeds. So of good thoughts, of good words, of good deeds. Yadacha, anyadacha. Why I'm taking together, I'll say A cha B cha means A and B are the two words, suppose. So A cha B cha or A cha B cha C cha is very common formation. Means cha means and. So here and elsewhere. So yadacha is here and anyadacha is elsewhere. Basically yada is here, it is similar to Vedic iha, and anyada is basically anyatra or anyatha. So both meanings are there. So it is elsewhere. So here and elsewhere. Next, please. Whereas yamna namcha, here that no is not there, that notch is not present, but okay, we have seen the main text. So genitive plural, neutral gender, again genitive plural. So it is genitive, means of uh, 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 it is basically present a participle of middle voice. So it is practice, act, or do, or perform. And then we have see vruj, swa vrushti. So from that, this vruj, that is the root. And then there is va varezana namcha. So it is again genitive plural. Uh, it is perfective participle of middle voice. So it is actually, but ultimately the final word is genitive plural neuter gender. So of practice and of performance. So we don't know why they have repeated it, but they have actually emphasized that. Then mahi, first person plural, indicative, active voice of the root present ah. Ah means to be, Vedic smasi. Then there is this ib zarataro, nominative plural, ib zarataro, it is welcomer. Now forget the grammar, but usually we do it like this. Just remember. So who are we? Who are we? Because it is first person plural. The verb is saying first person plural. So it is talking about we all, not the dual, but we all, and active. We all are what? We are welcomer of, please next. We are not just welcomer, it is also naya naya staro. Naya star is revealer, that is um, uh, a person having a kind of animosity or negative feelings about. That's why reviler. So it is non-reviler. Then yathana is relative participle. Relative is comparative basically. So yathana vahuna mahi. Nayastar is also, remember, it is nominative plural nayastar. but here also it is tara, taratam bhavachak, ninditara. So ninditara. So it is basically Vedic is ninditara. So nindya or ninditara. So it is we are not non uh, non hostile, we will say. And yathana is actually that is a particle for that. And vahunam is good mahi. So we are good, uh, we are welcomer, non hostile, uh, uh, good. Just take a slide back. Hmm. Oh. Welcomer and welcomer of what? Of practice, performance, of good thoughts, good words, good deeds. Next, please. Next. Hmm. So that way we usually translate, and that's why this translation becomes accurate. Uh, but there is nothing like accurate translation. You have, because in last slide we have seen that there are multiple words for multiple translations. So different translated has used it different uh, ways, and then interpretation changes. So the text might be fixed. There might not be corruption in the text, but still the interpretation itself might differ. Next, please. Now, what we are going to do, uh, we will recite one mantra. So, and it is very basic mantra of Zoroastrianism. So, we all will do that by opening mic, those who can. So, I have mentioned this mantra in the beginning, that is Asham. So, that reverse E is like A, Wohu, Vahishtam, Vahishtam, or Vahishtam, Asti. T is Dirgha, long. उष्टा अस्ति उष्टा अहमाय यत अशाय वहिष्ठाय asham. So I'll recite it once, and then you can recite it with me if possible. uh, I'll first recite full thing. Asham bahu vahishtam asti ushta ahmay yat ashay vahishtai asham. Now those who can open their mic can recite line by line after me. Please unmute yourself, those who can. So it is Asham Vahu Vahishtam Asti
Asham Bahu
Asham
Vaishtam Asti
Vahishtam
Ushta Asti Ushta Ahamai
Tushta Asti Tushta Ahamai
Yat Ashai Vahishtai Asham.
Yet
Yat
Ashai
Asham
Vaishtai Am
Vahishtam
Another prayer, we will do that. Next, please. Uh, now, what happens? These next slide, please.
We are
So,
going to take recitation one by one. So if you can just raise hands, then we'll allow the recitation. So it will be way more nice. Please raise the hands who are ready to recite after Pushpa.
yeah, we have. Yeah. Can we take them both together? Like together? Okay, we have three. You also have Sharbat. Okay, so what we will do, we will go line by line. Okay, First line, uh, Pakzin. Okay, she left. Pakzan. Okay, Pakzan will take first line. Sharwari will take second, and Pakzin will take third. So what I'll do, I'll recite the first line. Just listen carefully. First, Pakzan. Uh, uh, just listen carefully. Then I'll repeat it again, and then you will recite. Okay. First, just for listening purpose. Yatha ahuvairyo atha ratush ashachithacha. Now you can recite it after me, Pakzan. Yatha ahuvairyo atha ratush ashachithacha. Okay, thank you. Now, Sharvari, uh,
Yeah.
now I'll recite the next line full, and then part by part we will recite. Okay. It is Wanghaush Dasda Manang Hao Shauthananam Angeush Mazdai. So now recite it with me. Wanghaush Dasda Manang Hao. Yeah, please.
One house does da manan ho.
It is Wang. Ng
One
and G. Wang.
one
Wange
house.
Wanghaush Dasda
One
Manang
house.
Ho.
One house
Dasda
does da manan ho.
Manang Ho.
Manang ho.
Shauthananam
Shauthananam.
Anghaush Mazdai.
Ang house mazdai.
Yeah, thank you. Now, Pakzin, just listen.
Yes.
Kshatrim cha ahurai ayim drigubyo dadat vastaram. So I'll recite. You just repeat. Kshatrim cha
Kshatrim cha
ahurai
ahurai
ayim
ayim
drigubyo
drigobyo
dadat
dadat
vastaram.
vastarem.
Thank you. It was better. Okay, thank you very much, those who participated, and thank you everybody, because for first prayer everybody was there. So there is a translation below. So anyway, we are going to share the slides. Next, please. Now we are coming to a very important part and towards the end of our presentation. So why it is important to learn Avesta? So first thing is, those who are from Vedic studies, many scholars have said that you can't understand Vedic deities because without understanding Avesta, like they are two parts of the same deity, and when you merge them, then the full deity appears. And we don't have any other text, like we don't have other Central Asian texts except a few inscriptions to describe the deity, or when they have saluted this deity. So to understand Vedic deities, it is very important to understand Avesta and what is its form in Avesta. Another is to trace the origin of the words and understand development of these modern Indo-European languages, the modern languages, current languages. Like I have mentioned, like Dom, when I have studied Russian. So when I was studying Russian, I remember when it came to Dom. So I just remember Dom is home, but Dom is Dhamma in Avestan, and then we know from Patanjali that this Dampati is about house. So there are a lot of words which have the common origins, like this Dampati. Like You know meherban, the word meherban. So meherban is basically, meher is mitra or mitra. So mitra, just like zautra, zautra becomes abzor, zohar, mitra becomes meher. And mehervan is actually mitravan. In Avestan, it becomes mitravan. So who is kind and friendly, the one who has many friends, is mehervan. So these words, we get more in-depth understanding of such words when we use. Like we know the word kshatra. Kshatra means the dominion or a city-like thing. Kshatra, the rule basically. But single politically ruled entity, like a big entity, but which is ruled by a very integrated political power, is kshatra. So kshatra becomes kshahara or kshahrig basically in Middle Persian, and that becomes sheher in modern. So sheher in Farsi is from kshatra. Or so we see the development of concept. So sheher is basically an entity where people are ruling it from a same single ruler, a strong entity which is ruling it. So it is very important to trace the origin of these different words from Indo-European languages. Then another is to understand the influence of Zoroastrianism on other religions. We have a lot of influence of Zoroastrianism. Of course, other religion also have some. Like if we see that development of in Judaism, you know that during the Kurush Buzurg, that is Cyrus the Great, he saved Jews and and from captivity, and then there is a mention of him in Torah. But after that, what happens? We see a lot of apocalyptic and some such influences. A different kind of texts were written in Judaism after that. He also helped them to construct the temple. So this influence is there. Or in the word like namaz. So namaz is not it is Indo-European word for the Atashnesh start with namasete. So it is from namas. So z and h are interchangeable in these languages. Just like ahi becomes aji, ajidahaka. So namas becomes, or namaha becomes namaz or namaz. So namaz is salutation. So all these are Indo-European words, and these influences, because namaz, of course, in Zoroastrian there are namazi parvat and namazi this. We find it in text, but inherently or common belief is that namaz is something very Islamic, but it is not. Basically the word and terminology itself is adopted from Zoroastrianism. And of course, Zoroastrianism has influence on Semitic religions a lot. So, and of course, we have something to research in India also, like Atharva Veda. Why it is called Atharva Veda, and what is the relation between the Atharvan? Because Atharvan literally means Zoroastrian priest. Of course, Atharva Veda tradition is again related to Bhrigu and Angiras, and they are not very friendly with devas. So this tradition. So we need to see what is this link. Or even the death rites like Kakasparsha. Why you are giving the pinda, that is body, to a scavenging bird. Of course, I have talked with somebody who already done PhD on Antyeshti basically. So all these Antyeshti Karmani. So these all last rites. So I have realized, or we had elaborate discussion, and they said that no, Kakasparsha, we don't find it some in very ancient texts and ancient rituals. So there is a lot of scope for research in this field, basically. So influence on other religions. And basically it is important link in piecing together this Indo-European heritage altogether, all this whole heritage of Indo-European, because Indo-European languages are dominating most of the world right now, most of its part. So they are uh, uh, like more than 40%, around 45% of world population is uh, speaking the language from Indo-European family. May it be English, may it be Spanish, Italian, name the language, all this popular language. So, and on the background, when there are around 200 language families in the world, only one is dominating over the world. But these Indo-European language families also have some peculiar traditions, very ancient stories, uh, which we find from these commonalities between these languages. So, yeah, let's take some questions quickly. How many alphabets Zoroastrian language has? Uh, I think 37 are the consonants and 16 vowels. But now there are terminating th is different than normal th. So alphabets and sounds, we need to distinguish between them. But these are the alphabets. So mm, uh, just a minute. Now what we will do? There is a small announcement. Saurang will do some announcement, and then uh, those who are interested in listening a recitation, Zoroastrian recitation, can stay, and other can log out. But recitation will be end of the session. I think we are at the second last slide, right? Okay. Yeah. So some announcements.
Uh, yeah, before I want to say something, after this, you can also stay for a group discussion where people can unmute themselves and discuss some things if you want to. There is exciting news following success of our introduction to Avesta workshop. We are thrilled to announce the upcoming launch of our next course, Basics of Avesta. This comprehensive certificate course will provide a deeper dive into the fundamentals of Avestan literature, Zoroastrian teaching, and also Avestan language. Stay tuned for more details on enrollment and course content. Get ready to embark on a transformative learning journey with us, Innovative Insight Academy. Uh, One more thing, those who don't have joined the WhatsApp group or the announcement community, uh, please let us know so we can add you. And so the information about next courses, Innovative Insight Academy launches, you'll receive that information. Yeah, that's it.
Actually, before learning Avestan, I learned Russian. Remember, so it was, and then I learned Spanish, and but after learning Avestan, actually, the perspective of looking at the languages, specifically Indo-European languages, has changed a lot. Because when you have 500 or 400, 450 to 500 verb forms to express every minutest detail, then you will find that any language in the world, basically from Indo-European language family, is very easy. Even Russian is easy because Russian have only 6 cases. Okay, we have only 2 cases less, and we don't have middle voices, and we don't have duals, and I was feeling so happy with that. So that's why also for in that perspective also the language will be is better. And another announcement from my side that we are soon going to start for uh, actually a recitation session once a week for basically for Zoroastrians. We will announce it shortly. Basically for Zoroastrian children who's see, it is open for all, but the purpose mainly was for Zoroastrian children whose Navjot is uh, not over it, but because before Navjot, they need to by heart the basic prayers. So for that, we wanted to start that. So that we will announce soon. So it will be we will teach the children the recitation, and I need to announce it beforehand that it will be free. It will be free of cost for once a week, and that will last for a few months. We will let you know that. So, any questions now? And after the session, we will go for recitation. So, after question answers are over, we will go for recitation. We will end with a recitation. So, how it is recited, you will know. Yeah, this Avestan script, the closest script is Aramaic script. It was developed from Aramaic script. Aramaic language, the language of Jesus Christ. So their script is the closest. Yeah. So and it was artificially made. Just remember. Anybody has question? Yeah. If anybody want to unmute, it's okay. Or if you want to unmute, okay.
Yes, Pushkar, thank you for the introductory lecture and thank you for being very informative. I have a very simple question.
Mm-hmm.
This Avestan language of the Avesta text, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it, like the Vedic language? I will refrain from using the word Sanskrit for the Vedic language because I believe that it is different in Sanskrit. So similar to Vedic language, which is no longer a living language. We can find traces of Vedic language only from Rigveda or the Vedic texts, but today we do not have people speaking that language with each other. So it can be only called as kind of a Grantha Bhasha for the time being. So is the status of Avestan language similar, or do we still have people who communicate with each other in the Avestan? And just an addition, because then there are people who believe that in Karnataka there is a village called Mattur where people speak Sanskrit, and in Tirupati people speak Sanskrit, and they do speak Sanskrit. Surely, I have heard people communicating with each other in Sanskrit, and I also do that. But I know that the language that we use for communication is not the Vedic language for sure. It's a dialect altogether. So the status of Avestan today.
First of all, in Muttur, everybody can speak Sanskrit, but everybody don't necessarily always speak Sanskrit in that village. Like the shopkeeper, everybody can speak Sanskrit, but in day-to-day life they use Kannada a lot. Basically, Avestan is dead language. So new texts were not written in Avesta. Actually, then a new language came, which is Middle Persian, and it sounds different. In recitation, at the end, the Middle Persian comes. Like there is a verse: "Kerfe mozda guna guzarishne rakunam ashehravan dusharam raham kerfe hama behane haftakeshwar zameen." So this is Middle Persian and not Avestan. So this and Avestan has a very close resemblance to Vedic. At least Vedic has some interesting thing that the corpus is big, and then Rigvedic, and there is a slight change in the language in Yajurveda. Like we don't find ळ, and ळ is actually the original form of ळ is as d is retained in Yajurveda. So the Agni Mile Purohitam will be Agni Mide in Yajurvedic text. Now, another important part that this Vedic language has then Upanishads and later development also, and we have some kind of in between texts also. For Avesta, we find Avesta, and then we find Old Persian. Old Persian is very close to Sanskrit. Sanskrit means the classical Sanskrit, I am saying. Old Persian is very close to Sanskrit. Avestan is very close to Vedic language. So if you know few rules of transformation, you can simply understand. If you know Sanskrit, you can simply understand Old Persian. But Old Persian is written in different script that is cuneiform. So cuneiform is like the post-Egyptian hieroglyphs, the new script which was written like knells. So like a knells were imprinted, so that is cuneiform. In that script, it is written. But it is dead language. There are some efforts of reconstruction, but nobody's taking it seriously. Anybody else want to question, or should we go for?
Okay, so it just means that between Vedic Sanskrit and or whatever, between Vedic language and classical Sanskrit, we have some literature which shows us the transformatory phases or whatever, but that is not the case with Avestan. So Avestan texts are there, and then there is Old Persian, but in between the transitional forms are no longer available.
Transitional forms is only Old Persian, which are inscriptions, but inscriptions are short. Here, at least Avesta is bigger text. But if we compare it with Vedic text, the Vedic text is a huge. So you have a lot of forms. For even a ending masculine, you will have dual, or for some in between, ablative dual, you will have the form. But here the problem is, even to reconstruct the middle, many forms are missing. There are no words or examples available. What was the form? So that is also a problem. And the corpus, if you see the book, I have this Avesta. So it is a small book, not very big. So
so the material that can be used for reconstructing is also very less in volume.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why that is hurdle. Hurdle sound.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. So should we go for recitation? Yeah, okay. Oh, right. I have seen that. I just missed it. So how is middle voice in Avestan work? It is like Prayojak Roop. And in old Marathi, if anybody knows Marathi, then it is Karaviyale was some kind of form. So it is not just Karavale, or it is Karaviyale, or Karavale also might be formed. But here I am making somebody do something for me, but I am the Karta. So I will be in nominative case, and the one actually doing it will be instrumental case, or sometimes that will be also in nominative case. But that is basically in that case, it is like Yajamahe. So Yazamaide, you will listen Yazamaide, constant the Yazamaide formula in recitation. Yeah. Farsi, Gujarati, and some English translation. I remember that I need to take it out of my book collection. 1905. Yes. There are some good translation. There is a translation by Kanga Darmstaedter. I usually compare 5 translation and then do my own because I disagree with. There is also passive voice. There are 3 voices. So passive voice is directly that something is done by you, or where the either the subject becomes instrument of doing action, means it is done by me. So by me, and all these forms are there. So passive voice is directly passive, but here middle voice is actually in between, that I am getting it done through priest. I am getting blessing through priest, or getting some ritual yasna done through priest. So who is doing, or who is getting it done, or who is doing it? I am doing it, but I am not directly doing it. I am not sitting and oblating in fire, or sitting in front of fire praying. It is the priest who is doing that for me. So there is a middleman who comes up, and then it is middle voice. So it is in between middle and passive. Any other question? or should we go for recitation? You can raise your hands, you can type it in the box. Okay, then I think we should move to recitation. It is for you to get idea about how the recitation is done. So we are going to recite a morning prayer, which is usually recited after sunrise. It is called Havanaga. To recite it, we should cover our head. Remember, to go inside the fire temple, you need to cover your head. The Zoroastrians cover their heads and to even pray. But traditionally, it was believed that actually the person should keep his head covered everywhere when he is outside. Then before that, whenever possible, he should cover his hand. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I'm going to recite now the Havanaga. You will get the idea about its sound. I think I should drink a bit water. You can go to the next slide, basically, and then we will continue the recitation. So let's recite. It is Saroshazat Panah Baat. So those who are leaving, I am saying thank you. Kshnaotra Mazdao Ashem Vahu Vaishtamasti Ushtasti Ushtamaya Dashaya Vahishtashem Ashem Vahu Vaishtamasti Ushtasti Ushtamaya Dashaya Vahishtashem Ashem Vahu Vaishtamasti Ushtasti Ushtamaya Dashaya Vahishtashem Fraurane Mazdayas no Zarat Tushtrish Videvrat Kaesho Havane Ashavane Shaheratve Yasnaicha Vammaicha Shnotraicha Frasistiecha Savangah Visyaicha Shavnea Sharatve Yasnaicha Vammaicha Shnotraicha Frasistiecha Mitre Vauru Govoyoito Jazangara Gaushae Baivare Chashmano Akto Namano Yazata Heramano Pastre Shnautra Yasnaicha Vammaicha Shnotraicha Frasistiecha Yatha Uveria Zota Frame Mrute Yatha Ratu Shashachit Ashat Chit Hachafrashava Vidvam Rotu Avra Mazdama Shavanima Shartum Yazamaide Zara Tushtrim Shavanima Shartum Yazamaide Zara Tushtria Shavne Pravashim Yazamaide Amisha Spente Ashavanam Yazamaide Ashavanam Vangush Sura Spenta Pravashayo Yazamaide Aswato Manankyacha Panatimim Ratvam Yazamaide Yetishtimim Yazatanam Hanganushtim Sharatvam Ivina Sastimim Jagamushtimam Ashavna Sharatvo Ratu Pritim Yazamaide Havanima Shavanima Shartum Yazamaide Havvatate Mashavanima Shartum Yazamaide Amerata Tate Mashavanima Shartum Yazamaide Aurim Frashnima Shavanima Shartum Yazamaide Aurim Kaishima Shavanima Shartum Yazamaide Yasnim Surem Haptang Haitima Shavanima Shartum Yazamaide Savangahem Visimcha Shavnima Sharatum Yazamaide Aryaman Ishima Shavanima Shartum Yazamaide Avangatam Verthrazanam Vitbashangham Vispad Bashout Orventem Vispad Bashout Titarentem Yo Upamo Yo Mademo Yo Fratemo Zozizue Taromatrem Panchagatha Mitrem Cha Vauro Gavoyoitim Yazamaide Ramacha Kwastrem Yazamaide Visya Ratvo Yasnaicha Vammaicha Visimcha Shavnima Shartum Yazamaide Mitrem Vauru Gavoyoitim Hazangara Gaushae Baivare Chashmano Akto Namano Yazata Heramano Fastre Shnautra Yasnaicha Vammaicha Yazamaide Twam Atre Maurem da Putrema Shavnima Shartum Yazamaide Hada Zautram Hada Ivyonghanam Imata Barasma Shai Frastaritima Shavnima Shartum Yazamaide Apam Naptaram Yazamaide Narim Sangem Yazamaide Takhmem Damo Shupamanem Yazatim Yazamaide Iristanam Urvano Yazamaide Yao Ashanam Pravashayo ऋतुंबरजन्तीं यजमैदेयीं औरमज्दा यो अहिषः अपनोतिं योषय जगमुष्टिमां विस्पस्रवा जरतुष्ट्रै यजमैदे विस्पश्वर्ष्टशोत्नै यजमैदे वर्ष्टिचां वरिष्यं न च येंगे हाता मात्यस्ने पैतिवंघा मजदावरो वैथाशाथ च योंघां च ताश्चा ताश्चा यजमैदे यथा हुवैरे अथारतु शशाचित च वंग्यौष दजदामनंग शोथननाम अंग्यौष मजदाय क्षत्रिम चाय अहुरायाम द्रेगुब्यो ददत्वास्तारेम यथा हुवैरे अथारतु शशाचित च वंग्यौष दजदामनंग शोथननाम अंग्यौष मजदाय क्षत्रिम चाय अहुरायाम द्रेगुब्यो ददत्वास्तारेम यस्निम च वम्मिम च जौश्चा जवरचा फ्रिनामी मित्रे ववरो गवयोय तोइश हजंगरो गौशय बैवरे चश्मनो अख्तो नामनो यजतय रामनो क्वास्त्रे अशेम बहु वैष्टमस्ति उष्टास्ति उष्टामाय दशाय वैष्टाशेम अम्माय रैश्चा खोरे नशा अम्माय तन्वाव द्रवताते अम्माय तन्वाव वज्वरे अम्माय तन्वाव वेरेथ्रेम अम्माय इष्टि पौरुष क्वात्राम अम्माय अस्नाम चित फ्रेजंतीम अम्माय दरेगो जीतीम अम्माय वैष्टम औषम अहुम अशवनम रौचंगे विस्पो क्वात्रेम अथ जम्यात यथा फ्रिनामी अशेम बहु वैष्टमस्ति उष्टास्ति उष्टामाय दशाय वैष्टाशेम हजंग गरे बैशजनाम बैवरे बैशजनाम हजंग गरेम बैशजनाम बैवरे बैशजनाम हजंग गरेम बैशजनाम बैवरे बैशजनाम अशेम बहु वैष्टमस्ति उष्टास्ति उष्टामाय दशाय वैष्टाशेम जसमे अवंघे मजदाव जसमे अवंघे मजदाव जसमे अवंघे मजदाव आमहे उताष्टय उरोदय वैरत्रग्ने अवरोधातय वनन्त्यो शोपरतातो रामनो क्वास्त्रे वयोश उपरो करे तरदातो अन्याइश दमान अय तत्ते वयो यत्ते अस्ति स्पन्तो मैन्यों त्वाशहे ख्वदातय ज्राने अकर्णे ज्रवाने दरेगो ख्वदातय अशेम बहु वैष्टमस्ति उष्टास्ति उष्टामय दशाय वैष्टाशेम कैरफे मोजदा गुना गुजारिशने राकुनम अशहरवान दुशारम राहम कैरफे हमा वहान हफ्तकेश्वर जमीन जमीन पहना रुद्दारान खुर्शिद बाला बुंदे हाथ बैरसादा शो बैदर्जी अथ जम्यात यथा फ्रिनामी अशेम बहु वैष्टमस्ति उष्टास्ति उष्टामाय दशाय वैष्टाशेम थैंक यू
Thank you so much, Pushkar, for this wonderful lecture. We will be ending the meeting right now. If anybody wants to say anything, if anybody wants to join our WhatsApp community, who is not in the group, please stay back and let us know. Message us so we can address your problem. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Is there someone who is not in the WhatsApp community? Yeah. I hope all are in the WhatsApp community. Will be in touch. If you have any doubts about the lectures or any concepts, you can also discuss them on the WhatsApp community. Let us keep that community alive. We will have some lively discussions on the community also, and you will be updated with various courses that Innovative Insight Academy announces on the WhatsApp community. Thank you so much for being here.